Technological controls. Technological controls A 8.4. A 8.4 access to source code. Read and write access to source code, development tools and software libraries shall be appropriately managed. Technological controls A 8.4. To audit 1. Review policies and procedures for source code access. Ensure the organization has a formal, documented policy outlining who can access, modify, or deploy source code, and the roles and responsibilities associated with each. Verify that the policy includes procedures for granting, tracking, and revoking access, as well as segregation of duties to prevent conflicts of interest. Technological controls A 8.4. To audit. 2. Verify role-based access control, RBAC for source code. Ensure that roles for accessing source code are clearly defined, such as developers with write access, code reviewers with read access, and operations staff with limited deployment access. Verify that granular access controls are in place, ensuring that only authorized individuals can access specific parts of the code or libraries based on their roles. Technological controls A 8.4. To audit 3. Ensure access to source code is logged and monitored. Confirm that all actions related to source code, e.g., read, write, update, delete, are logged, capturing user identification, timestamp, and the specific actions performed. Ensure that real-time monitoring is implemented to detect unauthorized access or unusual access patterns, and that logs are regularly reviewed to identify potential security issues. Technological controls A 8.4. To audit 4. Review encryption and backup practices. Verify that source code repositories are encrypted at rest, particularly for sensitive or proprietary code. Ensure regular backups of source code are taken and securely stored, with access to backups restricted according to the same policies as the live source code. Technological controls A 8.4. To audit 5. Ensure secure development practices. Ensure that code changes undergo peer review or automated security scans before being merged into the main code base to identify vulnerabilities or unsafe code. Confirm that access to development, testing, and production environments is properly separated, ensuring that developers cannot access production systems directly unless required for their role. Technological controls A 8.5. A 8.5 Secure Authentication. Secure authentication technologies and procedures shall be implemented based on information access restrictions and the topic-specific policy on access control. Technological controls A 8.5. To audit 1. Review the organization's authentication policies and procedures. Verify that the organization has a documented policy outlining authentication requirements for various levels of access, e.g., local, remote, privileged. Ensure the policy covers multi-factor authentication, MFA requirements, password complexity, expiration policies, and account lockout rules. Technological controls A 8.5. To audit 2. Assess the authentication mechanisms in place. Confirm that MFA is used for sensitive systems, data, and high-risk actions, including multiple factors like passwords, hardware tokens, and biometrics. Review password policies to ensure enforcement of complexity, expiration, and history rules, and that account lockout or delay mechanisms are in place. Technological controls A 8.5. To audit 3. Check for integration with access control systems. Ensure the authentication mechanism integrates with access control policies, granting access only after successful authentication and according to role-based permissions. Review how authentication data is managed in identity management systems, like Active Directory, and ensure any attribute-based access control, ABAC, is implemented. Technological controls A8.5. To audit. 4. Evaluate the strength of authentication technologies. Verify that biometric data is securely stored and protected, with fallback mechanisms in place for failures. Confirm that public key infrastructure, PKI, certificates are issued by trusted authorities, and private keys are properly protected and managed. Technological controls A8.5. To audit. 5. Review logging and monitoring of authentication attempts. Ensure that all authentication attempts, successful and failed, are logged with details like user ID, time, source IP, and failure reasons. Check that real-time alerts are generated for suspicious authentication attempts, including multiple failures or access from unusual locations. Technological controls A8.6. Achtste zes capacity management. The use of resources shall be monitored and adjusted in line with current and expected capacity requirements. Technological controls A8.6. To audit. 1. Review the capacity management policy. Ensure the organization has a documented capacity management policy that outlines the scope, roles, responsibilities, and forecasting methodology. Verify the policy aligns current and future capacity needs with business requirements and anticipated growth. Technological controls A8.6. To audit. 2. Assess capacity monitoring and reporting. Confirm that tools like network, server, and cloud monitoring systems are in place to track key metrics such as CPU usage, disk space, and database performance. Ensure real-time monitoring is enabled, with alerts for threshold breaches, underutilization, and performance degradation. Technological controls A8.6. To audit. 3. Examine capacity forecasting and planning. Review the process for forecasting future capacity needs, incorporating business growth projections, historical data, and IT strategy. Check that scalability and flexibility, including virtualization, containerization, and cloud autoscaling, are integrated into the capacity planning process. Technological controls A8.6. To audit. 4. Evaluate resource utilization and efficiency. Ensure underutilized and overutilized resources are identified and managed to prevent inefficiencies or performance issues. Verify that capacity management practices are cost-effective, including optimizing cloud resource provisioning and avoiding over-provisioning. Technological controls A8.6. To audit. 5. Review historical capacity data and trends. Analyze historical resource usage trends to assess the organization's ability to predict and prepare for future demand. Ensure capacity reports include key performance indicators, such as resource consumption trends and forecasting accuracy.